We live in a really awful world. It seems so overwhelming and hopeless. And this made me realize that I have a lot of space in my house and in my heart. And why not take in more people? Because there is never enough space for the refugees and asylum seekers who need it. I'm Karina Litvack. I started to host a young man from Syria just over 4 years ago, Basel, and I've lost count when it got to around 30 of how many we had here.
My name is Basel and I moved 4 years ago to Karina's home. I'll always be thankful for her for the rest of my life. So Karina, what makes you to even just think about host refugee?
I think it's kind of in my bones, in the sense that on both sides of my family, on my dad's side, on my mom's side, my grandparents went through what you went through. So my grandfather fled Poland because for Jews it was becoming more and more dangerous. There were these attacks on Jews called pogroms, and it wasn't safe. So both my grandmother and grandfather, they headed to Turkey, actually. For 500 years, they lived in Turkey. And then as the Ottoman Empire expanded, they moved westward and they ended up in Edirne. So, we have on both sides of the family this history of fleeing, which is why I connect with you, because I get it. Tell me, when you rang that doorbell that first day in May of 2017, and I opened the door, what was your first thought?
At the beginning I was impressed, there are people who do that. I was worried I had bad experience. In my first week I couldn't sleep comfortable, but then later we started knowing each other, so I felt more comfortable later. We had to do the emojis,
Well, that's it, so right. So you arrived and I thought, oh my God, how am I going to communicate with this guy? And you are the one who started with the emojis, actually, course, right? Yeah. And I thought, I don't even know what these things mean, but I thought, I think I see a heart in there, so there must be something nice. And I just started to respond to you with emojis. Because how do you say to somebody who doesn't speak your language, I'm worried about you, I care about you, I'm sending hugs. The emojis were a real lifesaver at that point. They really were.
When you invite me here or to live here for 6 weeks, I was surprised that you are living for your daughter's weddings, and you went for 1 week?
3 weeks.
3 weeks, right?
3 weeks.
Yeah, I was alone here by myself for 3 weeks. Oh, wow, that was short.
I remember my husband saying, why don't we just have him move in after?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and I said, but he has nowhere to live, Cliff. And what's the worst that could happen? So anyway, so you moved in and 2 or 3 days later we left. And then while we were in France, there was that terrorist attack in London.
I remember, yeah.
And I was so worried about you. Whenever there are events like this, very often there's a backlash.
Yeah.
So you see those attacks on mosques, and they're always explained or justified by a terrorist attack. And I just thought, oh God help us! I don't want you to be sitting in the tube, talking to a friend in Arabic, and someone is rude to you or worse. And I thought, does he know this? Does he know that people have these reactions and that he has to be? So I finally thought, all right, I'm gonna call him. I remember thinking I was so embarrassed that I was saying this and saying, please, when you're outside of the house, don't speak Arabic, because we just don't know who's listening and who's going to have, a violent reaction. You know what? So I've always wondered, what was the trigger that made you decide to change your life?
Everything was getting worse and worse and worse. At the beginning, I was, we were in Syria.
Yeah.
Then we left to as a refugees as well to another place. I was 17 or 18 years old, so it was the right age to join army or something, or militias. So I was in a position that they will force me to be in one of the sides. So you will be even you will be killed or a killer. So,
were you scared to take that trip?
I was more scared about my family. I didn't think about myself. I only thought about myself when if something happened to me, that what will happen to my mother.
Really tragically, my grandmother lost her whole family. This is something that has really scarred my family. My grandmother lost her mother, her sister, her little baby nephew, who was only 16 months old. They were shipped on a train to Auschwitz in Poland and never came home. I always think about her sister and her baby and having to...
Sorry.
So, that's why I think about your mom, because I think, God, if I were in her shoes, I would be so worried about you and your brother. So anyway, that's why I do it. Long answer, but that's why I do it.
6? Oh, 5, sorry.
Yes.
And
Go on.
so I've got all of mine in here.
What was it like trying to make the crossing? I mean, how
Well,
was that?
we were trying like, every single night to come here. We had many stories. There was a sugar tanker, and there was full of sugar, like no on bags, it's just sugar.
No, loose sugar.
Loose sugar, yes. So we open it and get inside it. We didn't know that deep it was, so we stuck inside it. Anyway, so when the tanker was moving, we thought it will go to here.
Oh, to the UK?
Yeah, but it went to the opposite side, to France. So then we start knocking to the driver. We call the police we are here. So he went back to the park. When he arrived, I think there were many police waiting for us. So and they were like hitting the tanker. So it makes like
A lot of noise.
a lot of noise, and it is like scared.
I remember actually saying to you once, of all the people your age in Syria, what percentage do you think made it to Europe? And you gave me a number, it was a tiny number. And I said, okay, and then of those, what percentage do you think made it across to the UK? And it was, again, a tiny, tiny number. And I said, you know what? So that makes you really special and really strong and persistent. And you're a survivor. You do whatever it takes to get what you need. And that is something that very, very few people have. So that's the strength that you have. It's like you have a superpower, you know? And that will make you really good at whatever you do. You just have to learn English.
Yes.
And then everything else will come by itself. There was that time when I had said, what do you want me to buy for Ramadan? And you said, nothing. I said, come on, there's something, probably some food that you want. And you said, well, dates.
Yeah.
So I went and I got like 2 kilos of dates. And so I sent you a text to say, I've got dates.
I did not understand it very well. You sent me a text message, you said, I got dates. It didn't come up to my mind that you mean this date. So I thought maybe the date that I should leave home. I was really as well like worry about it because I wasn't prepared, but I told you that. I told just let me know one day before and I will be ready to leave. Then like one day later, I mean, I was just waiting for you to tell me like which date to that I need to leave, but then we had a normal conversation, like normal morning.
Have some dates.
Yes.